This was another stage where I felt the reload was one of the bigger problems. And this was a little bit gambly too. You see, like, watch this behavior of this transition. Or listen to the whole array, actually. Like, the split on the follow-up shot was, like, slower than the actual transition time. Just because it was, you know, I kind of flung the gun over there and it was there, and I just acted before I really had, you know, was sure the policy I laid was in place. I wanted to shoot basically confirmation 2.5. You know, shoot, like, pick a spot and then shoot, like, wait till the sight was dancing within the zone. And I ended up pretty much just, like, flinging a shot on it and landed on brown. And it was an alpha, but again, this is like this sort of things where repeatability is important. So this pickup is lame. I will say on stuff like this, I'll be like, okay, dude, it's like 40 degrees. I'm like almost as cold as I've ever shot a match. I'm not going to be super mad about that part. This part is good. Actually had 3 alpha on this swinger. Just didn't quite trust myself, which is a little lame. And then I intended from here, when I turn to this position, I can see this array, like, literally from standing in this position. So this bottom target should be shot by right here, and then I wouldn't be stopping in this position. And by about right here, I could have had that top target shot. I mean, you could see the height of the window relative to my head. I could have had this top target shot by about right here, and then been doing the reload as a button hook around this corner, and that just isn't what happened. I just kind of got drawn into it, you know, sort of forgot what the cue was. Should have been a straight transition from here directly to that bottom target. So that reload, it doesn't look like it cost that much time, but it should have cost me literally nothing. So that's at least a half second tacked on. Overall, a clean but realistically just okay performance. This was a super intimidating stage. I'm basically going to run directly to here, and everyone had to shoot these 2 targets that are about 20 yards away, and a plate that's off screen over here, then a low target that's behind this barrel first thing. So that's a pretty technically demanding and tough array to start out on. I know I stand here for a second trying to get my mind right.
Stand by.
2 extra. And another extra on the steel. So the other error that you might not be able to tell was my plan was to shoot this array, and then I had bounced back and forth over how I was going to do this part. I wanted to reload back to this corner and then shoot this whole array basically right to left as they appear. In the moment, just I had walked this the other way as well, and as you see, I end up doing a straight transition to here and then reloading in this space. So that doesn't cost anything, but again, it's a complete failure of visualization. And if you're going to make memorization problems like that now, ultimately you will end up making one in a situation where it costs you something, and that's not okay. Look at my grip right here. That's not what the grip's supposed to look like. After that reload, that hand just never made it quite back on. And you watch the behavior of the gun, you can see when the muzzle closes up, you can see it kind of bounces a little bit more than usual. So a bunch of very small things that I'd really like to have improved here. And you can see, like, my head is on this well in advance. Head snap, gun follows. It's just I didn't let the gun actually stop moving. So again, you can see the shot lands right of it. It's basically an over transition. Like, I'm looking at a spot on this, and my subconscious tendency is, rather than wait for the gun to come to the spot, it's like I'm trying to time, quote unquote, time the shot as it comes across, to make that timer stop faster. And so you're reacting to seeing this streak across the zone, and you end up you always react. That timing game is not as reliable as just making the dot stop where you want, right on that spot. I don't know if I got this whole video on here. I'm pretty sure I didn't. Nuts and bolts of what happened is you start about right here. There's X's here. Run to this corner for 1 plate. Run to this corner for, I think, 3 plates. And then there's 8 plates in the middle, and that's where we're resuming. Extra shot there. Drive all this down. Trying to remember which plates to shoot. It's kind of a memory stage. And back here in this corner, I didn't realize it, but my gun was on like a little bit of a cant. And so you can see this barrel right here. I was beating the heck out of this barrel, just edging up shots on it. And also the plate itself was again, like, if this is the barrel, like, you know, the ball of the plate was on an exposure like this. So I was hitting both the barrel downrange and the one close to me, so I ended up shooting 2 or 3 extra shots at this plate down here, and I do a little steel dance trying to leave. So that's pretty lame. It's like, you know what it takes to hit it. Like, you absolutely know what it takes to hit any target, so why are you not just doing that? Like, I know it's a tough stage, like, it's memory problems and stuff, but if you really look at these problems in a vacuum, it's like, you know how to hit the plate, so why are you just doing it? Like, the fact that it's complicated or difficult to remember, that only reaffirms the concept that you should be doing what you need to do to hit the plate the first time. This is another video where it got cut off a little bit. This ended up being a pretty okay run. You're missing a lot of the context of what happens at the beginning, but that part was okay. Basically, there's 2 positions in the front that were punctuated by about 7 yards of running to get to where the video picks up, so we'll watch from here on. Reload over the shoulder, switch back. And we'll talk about that in a second. Obviously, that part was hot. So this first position, all this is good. The first 2 positions honestly went good too. Coming back to here, this is a little bit of an unorthodox way to handle this. I could have come back and basically shot this right side array first and then back out on this window, and then you'd be moving with the right arm behind you with the gun down, running back to here, and it would have made it a little bit easier to present to this target. But I liked how much space I had to do this reload, and I didn't think that this switchback was going to be that bad. So my plan was basically, if you start spinning yourself around at this buckle and then have your feet pivoted back to here by the second buckle in the fault line, then the positioning would work out okay. And it does. Reload's done. See, that worked perfectly, right? I get spun from basically hips pretty much up range to all the way to left range in that exact time frame I wanted to. This is something that takes quite a bit of practice, obviously, but it's not crazy talk. The only thing is I end up like very base narrow after I'm done shooting this target right here. Like, now I'm done, and I'm both narrow, right, and very tall. So getting moving into this next position requires a drop step to go. So this is a little bit cumbersome. Coming into this position too, again, not an excuse, just kind of an explanation. I don't know what happened if I blinked and I had like some water or some dust or something in my eye, but I noticed it when I got to here that I had some shit on my actual eyeball where it looked like there was like 2 dots. Like, I almost had like an astigmatism for a second. So it was like a dot here and a dot here, and they were combined with like a streak. And so I noticed it on this. I'm shooting at a tuxedo right now that you can't see off screen through the corner of this bus. But then obviously transitioning back to this next target, this 25 or so yard partial, I'm just kind of picking a spot, and I'm like, all right, well, I got, you know, a dot here and a dot here. I'll just kind of average that and try to put that in the middle of the target. So 2 extra shots back here. And I don't like shooting extra shots, especially at white targets, because, you know, if you're sending extras, every shot you shoot has a potential to hit the penalty target. And I ended up having, if this is like the no shoot, you know, I had like, and this is the target or whatever, you know, I had a shot like basically like one like right here and then like here, which is a little scary. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I look at this shot, the shot that's down here, I look at that like that's basically a no shoot. When I set these up in training, I set it up so you have one big flat line, so that, you know, you're looking to the right part of the target, like up here. Like, I'm not just like, oh yeah, no, all this brown is good. Like, in my mind, like, if I'm trying to hit an A zone that's this big, that means I'm trying to hit a baseball-sized target, not a washing machine-sized target, and then just, you know, being happy when I look out. This motion was a little bit dainty, just not dropping a hand off the gun, but I really wanted to, again, shoot reactively coming up these stairs on this target, and that worked. And obviously the grip is squared away because I smacked those plates around like it was my job, even though they're 20 or so yards away. So again, some problems here, but overall a pretty clean performance. And on this stage, you really cannot see what I'm shooting at, but you'll have to take my word for it on some stuff. You're going to open this door, shoot a tuxedo to the right, open the door. And most other people did a different plan than this, but we'll talk about it after. This was a little bit of an unorthodox plan. Mr. Jake Hetherington told me he did it, and his time was good, and he said he had a malfunction, so I knew that the plan was viable, even though it seems very unorthodox. You could easily open this door. Most people open this door, and they shoot on the far left. You can't see it, but there's a no-shoot bobber and this open target, the last two targets that I end up shooting. So I power in, just basically go deep, shoot this target here, short reload. I have one pickup shot in the steel in this corner right here. And then because I'm backing out on this lean, there's a target that's tucked really, really deep around this corner here. And it ended up basically having like 2 delta on it, like here. And I knew that I didn't know there were 2 deltas, or I probably would have shot extras, but I knew they were on brown, so I just kind of roll with it. And then that plan actually worked out really good. I was able to be much more aggressive, and you can't see it, but this bobber is now just basically a static partial target. So I was able to shoot all 3 of these very aggressively while moving back to the position. So this is a situation where, I am legitimately doing something like 4 to 5 extra steps to get back here, but it just made this shooting easier. The other thing was the target that's tucked out of sight, like right over here. You had to shoot through this gap in the wall from the position where everyone else was shooting it, basically from this spot right here, looking back that way. So I just like this plan overall better, and I ultimately decided to execute on it. I knew at this point in the match it was mathematically impossible to win. Even if I won the stage overall, it still would not have been enough to take the match. I would have had to win by like 50%, which is just not possible. So I was willing to take a little bit more of a conservative plan just to lock down, a clean finish and not have any more major problems. So I did a plan that maybe potentially I would have taken more risk on if I was in a different position. But I liked the plan just fine. Ended up being like 99.9% of the stage winner or something like that. So it was good. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. As you saw, probably saw I was missing a stage or two. Not a big deal. The one that I would have liked to seen was a cool run, but hey, whatever, man. Hopefully if you enjoyed this, subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment the video, whatever, and I'll try to get more of these going on soon.